everyone. Welcome to a very, very special episode of our Dragon Age game. Yes, it is, as you can see, it is just the two of us here this evening. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm Sage, your storyteller.
Oh, hey, I am Bianca Zelda, your player, currently playing a Kunari mage.
Yes, so since we got the other half of what happened, we pick up where you're running faster than your legs can possibly carry you. Both all you and all of your companions are trying to outrun this avalanche, and just as you see right off in the coming right up is a bit of shelter where your friends hop into the mouth of this cave, and they are reaching out their arms to you to help pull you in, but this undercurrent of snow just swallows you up, and suddenly you are tossed violently in its wake until there is nothing but frigid darkness. And after Maker only knows how long, your senses finally start to return. You feel consciousness fuzzy, beginning to creep back into your mind. And the voices of your friends grow dimmer as they seem to be going farther and farther away from you. Still trapped in this in like encased in ice.
Yeah,
What is Sahar feeling?
I was
How,
just
how
gonna ask, how do I feel? Am I cold? Am I warm? What are the temperatures around me? I mean,
yeah, yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah, definitely from a very tactile perspective, you are encased in ice. It is so cold, just the tips of your nose and your fingertips, everything, all the exposed flesh is just to the point of numbness where it begins to hurt.
I imagine, did you ever make like I don't want to call it an igloo, but like snow forts when you were a kid and
I've only
hide
been in
in?
snow once in my life.
Okay,
Being
okay.
from LA, but I know what you mean.
Mhm. There's something that happens to the sound in the world around you when you are in snow, and it's so much more than just silence. It's like sound dampening. And
Mhm.
I imagine like that is the only sensation, like there's a lack of sensation. Like my extremities, I only know that they're there because of the sensation of pain that I feel. Like my consciousness, it feels like it's drifting.
Definitely, and as because your sense of kind of, your hearing and your sight and everything starts to slowly and gradually kind of rear bounds of just water droplets coming off of these ice and plinking next to you seem impossibly loud compared to all of this drastic silence. So what are you gonna do?
Am I able to muster any power inside of me to cast a spell?
Definitely.
Okay. Heck. Okay, I gotta double check. So I've got a really, really nice spell, and it's something I think will make me feel a little bit warmer. It's called Flame Blast.
Nice.
All right. I came unprepared. I only have 2 of my d6. Hold up.
All right, I should get my d6s out.
Got my dragon dice prepared now. Even a red dice too, which I enjoy. Very on brand, on theme.
Mhm.
All right. Target number 12. If I succeed, it's versus the acrobatics of the ice.
Go ahead and say that ice gets a big ol' fail.
Uh-huh. I did not succeed my target number. That seems impossible. Oh, I guess not. Getting a 12 on 3 dice.
Are you adding your spellcasting ability?
Oh, no. Why would I do that?
Gotta make everything hard for myself.
Been a beat. Um,
Yeah, so you add your 3 dice and then also your magic
I have
ability.
to count on my hands. 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Oh,
Hold on,
nice.
hold on,
Yeah.
hold on. Let me 4, 4, 4. Yeah, okay. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. I believe myself.
I
That was
believe in you
really
too.
hard. 3 fours makes a 12.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, it does. As a math major, I can verify this.
Oh, okay. I do languages. Numbers don't need to exist in my space.
And yeah, so as you what does it look like when Sahar casts Flame Blast as they're just in this like tomb, basically?
I think it's a heat that starts glowing around their chest first. I'm in this almost fetal position, and as the heat starts to grow, I can start to extend and my arms unfurl until finally, I mean, I guess I do cast with my, what do you call that? Staff. Well, this is something special. I'm almost able to harness it with my own hands. And from my chest, I pull this flame and I shoot it forward to melt the ice in front of me.
Nice. And as you do so, you see that this ice it just becomes blasted with fire and just immediately sublimates into this water vapor, and it's almost like you're surrounded by clouds for a second as this ice melts away and you suddenly find yourself flip my note
I love
page.
it.
You suddenly find yourself as this ice drifts away and transforms into this thick mist, and you are in this humid jungle. You're standing amidst these huge redwood trees, and far off through them, you hear the sounds of battle clanging as there's a conflict, probably not more than 50 yards away. And behind you, you see that there is this massive fortress that is built into the side of the mountain. And going up these trees are rope ladders, and between these huge giant tree trunks are rope bridges that lead into the fortress. And you see suddenly this line of archers take to the battlements of this fortress as they begin knocking arrows and coming up, ru- running in a mob towards this fortress. You see dozens of people, Kunari, elves, who are just screaming. They're scrambling for safety. You hear them yelling, "Sanctuary, sanctuary, please help us."
Mm.
And behind them, you see this cavalry of the finest Kunari warriors on the back of these kind of rhino-like creatures who are looking dead set on taking down these people who are crying desperately out for help. In the middle of all this, you see 10-year-old Sahar, who is being half carried running with their parents. What is little kid Sahar and their parents look like?
I'm definitely this raggedy child. My clothes are a mess, and not because my parents are not well off by any means. It's just I always found a way to roll in mud or tear my robes or something to that effect. So I believe it would be one of my parents have me kind of tucked under their arm while I have my head facing behind me, and I'm definitely trying to peer frightfully at the cavalry that's charging at us.
And this memory that you see unfolding before you is of this point where this was, your parents were saving you. They were running away from the Qun for for what they had done, for falling in love, for having you outside of what is normally, the Kunari normally have a very like children or women are bred, they have basically have a breeding program where
Oh,
there's no love, there's no relationships. It's more or less kind of like a eugenics program where they breed the best, the baddest with the strongest. But
and
your
this is
parent
socially okay with, sorry, I just, because I'm
yeah, oh yeah.
unfamiliar with the actual, or this is socially okay within the majority of them? Like, I mean, obviously there's many who defect from like their teachings, but like,
Yeah, generally is perceived as okay. Uh,
okay.
the Canary
Huh.
being a very kind of warrior culture, like, yeah, this totally makes
Mhm.
sense. And then for many of those who dissent from these views, they end up in a re-education program where they are basically brainwashed
Huh.
uh,
Dang.
back into submission and within the Qun. And then if they falter again outside of that, then they find other ways to deal with you.
How very cult-like.
It really, yeah, it definitely really is. But your parents wanting didn't didn't fall for this lifestyle, didn't fit them. And so this is the moment where they ran away with you and were making their stand. And time begins to almost imperceptibly at first, but it begins to slow to a crawl until finally it halts. And coming from seemingly nowhere from behind one of these trees emerges this time-worn woman whose white hair is fashioned in a way that looks like horns, as it is decorated with leather straps and silver embellishments and beads. And you recognize this woman as your teacher, Flemeth. And as time is halted, she walks up to the you that is frozen in time, and she says, "This is the moment where you truly discovered your power. But this small child cannot fight off an entire incursion. You must help them." And time slowly begins going very, very slowly. And you are in the fade, and you are a mage. You can do anything here. You don't need to spend mana points. You don't have to make rolls. Pure raw form of magic is at your fingertips. What would you like to do in this instance?
Can I access spells that I otherwise wouldn't have the ability to use?
Oh yeah, you can make up whatever you want.
So, paint me what I need to visualize, I guess, is there is the adult, like the me, like the now version of
Mhm.
Sahar, kind of witnessing the frozen in time version of Kid, them
Mhm.
with the cavalry of the Coon followers.
Mhm.
With this sight, I mean, the amount of rage that you can feel when reliving a memory that is so true, not by just the way memories degrade over time, and like the absolute reality of seeing the coon. I mean, I'm filled with nothing but frustration and that burning desire to destroy. I don't have the book open, but are there any really strong fire spells that you could suggest?
Let's
I'm
see. I mean,
trying to remember where I put it.
what kind do you wanna just make a wall of fire? Do you wanna shoot a ball of fire at them? I mean, you don't need to look at a specific spell per se,
Um,
but, you can craft whatever
yeah.
magical effect that you're looking for.
What I'm leaning towards is more of like an asteroid-esque ball of flame, but like it emerges from the sky and it almost descends like an entire pillar of flame with the intention to engulf the entire cavalry, just burn them to a crisp.
And you summon this asteroid that plummets right in front of them. You see right in front of the leader who's leading this charge. and just this white hot flash erupts, and you see kid kid you is raising their hands and pulling forth this meteor, and your their eyes light up in this in the same mirror like image of this white flash, as your parents are just struck, just awestruck, trying to pull them to safety, as suddenly these warriors just disintegrate into ash before you, and time begins to speed up again into normal pace. And Flemeth turns to you. She says, "That is the source of your power. Learning magic is as simple and as complex as waking up from a dream."
I still never know what you mean, Flemeth. How long has it been since I've seen you? You can't just come back and do this. I thought I was going to die.
She lets out a big sigh and, "I know, my child. We have much to discuss." And she extends out a hand to you, offering to take a stroll.
I'll take her hand. Only a little hesitation.
Yes, this very kind of enigmatic woman who you've never gotten a straight answer from before in your
Ever.
life.
Ever. And I am in the habit of asking at least 5 to 10 questions within one breath with the hopes that she will answer one of them. It's
Exactly.
been the most useful tactic thus far.
And so yeah, and so you hesitantly take her hand, and this jungle begins to shift and transmute into this phantasmagoria of memories that shift seamlessly into one another. I mean, what do you think was the time that was like the happiest moment in Sahar's life?
Well, true happiness has been something that I've been striving for a very long time because I don't know what it's supposed to look like. I don't know what it is that I want out of life. I There's a very strong part of me that wants power, but I don't know how power is supposed to make me happy. Being around other travelers, other people who treat me with decency and respect has granted a small amount of happiness, but it's still definitely something I'm searching for. I think one of the memories might even perhaps be um, when I ran into Bahan again. We had grown up here and there. We shared parts of our childhood together, but I had found them rather difficult, but our meeting was something almost fortuitous. They came at just the right time and helped me out, and I don't think I've ever felt more of like a swell of joy at seeing somebody I otherwise had never considered.
Yeah, and so you see, and you walk through these memories, through this shifting landscape, and you see the times where, you know, you get to relive all these small moments that fade away, that drift off, that are no longer, are the first to your mind. When do you think was a time that they felt most powerful and sure of themselves?
In Flemeth's power, or in Flemeth's presence, um, there is something about her that has granted me confidence. I don't believe that I could have ever been confident if it wasn't for the time that I had spent with her. The Kunari that I was prior to even discovering my power was kind of a pushover, kind of weak. And the short bursts of time with Flemeth have truly shown me that there is a like burning strength somewhere inside of me. And I'm a little afraid of it, but I also know that I need to harness this power.
And so as you're passing through all these moments, and she turns to you kind of suddenly and asks you, Is there anything you would ever change? Is there ever any regret?
That's that's a loaded question. Uh, well, I sometimes regret my power. It's not easy being a mage, being rejected, not being accepted, being looked down upon, being the second choice, being feared, being hunted. I've always wondered what my life could have been like if I was just a normal Kunari, if I was just even a normal human. Just nobody looked at me twice. Everybody accepted me. It's hard to say that my biggest regret is myself because that's almost not fair, but it's within the realm of truth.
And she delicately pats the back of your hand. And she goes, "My dear, you are a most precious thing. You were born of love, which is not many other of your kind can say is true. You were born for a purpose of more than just fighting. You are more than just a tool for any organization to use. You are a force of fate." And she kind of waves her hands, and the scene changes into you see you into a very, very, you about the age that you are now, but there's something a little bit different. You see you, Sahar, training Kunari warriors and rogues, going through the battlements, teaching fighting techniques, and Flemeth says, you can see the life that you would have had, all these different twists of fate. You can here in this place, you can sculpt reality itself.
Uh, I don't know. I don't know if I understand. I've never been able to control anything in my life. What do you mean, sculpt reality?
She kind of looks up in the air, like, has this expression on her face of like, how do I put this in mortal terms? You see, every time that we've met, that I've given you any amount of training, it has not been in your realm, in the mortal realm of time and place. Here, our minds, we are in the fade, beyond the veil. Not physically, but this is a place where I have taught you, where I have been able to access you. Because I am very far away, quite honestly, from wherever you are.
Wait, uh, uh, we've been in the. I can go into the fade? Can I do this on my own? I thought we were just kind of in my own thoughts. I mean, you're Flemeth. You have out, outstanding, remarkable power that I guess I never considered the fate as an option. Am I gonna be okay? Can you at least tell me that I will live to the next year? What's gonna happen?
And as your thoughts seem to become worrisome and darken and get filled with that kind of like tinge of anxiety, you see that the reality around you begins to shift and mirror that as it becomes darker and grayer, and like almost as like you get this feeling of claustrophobia, like something pressing in on you. She says, "This is the place of dreams, more or less. Whatever you think and feel, this place becomes a reflection of. You can enter the fade, and mages more than anyone have the most power here to change, to shift. I will show you how to enter and exit of your own free will.
Yes, please. Doesn't that make me vulnerable? What risks do I have to worry about? Is there anything that I should have in my pocket? Do I get to bring stuff from the outside world here?
And she motions to the pack on your back and the staff in your hand, and she says, "Yes, you can take your things, you can take your friends if that is what you truly desire, if that is what you need, but
Ah.
but you cannot bring things back with you. You can only bring back experience. And so that is why I've taught you here, not only of the convenience of place, since place and time are but mere ideals, but that here anything is possible."
What about wait, so Flemeth, where are you? What is the distance that is there any range limit on this? Like if I wanted to enter the Fade and communicate with somebody else 1,000 miles away, is that what are the limitations? Can you list them? Preferably alphabetically, but like I'll accept anything really.
And so as you all keep walking and the scenery begins to shift into this very beautiful meadow, fall meadow with bright orange and yellow leaves, and there's like the scent of like cinnamon on the air as a breeze whips by. She says, "No, no person knows any limits." And as she points to, there is still in the Fade always the present breach in the sky. It even seems to have affected this place. And you see circling in the breach, like distance being imperceptible. You see this giant floating rock upon which this jagged black city stands that she motions to. There has only been a few times in history where people have been able, where beings, mortals, have been able to enter physically. There's a time when the Golden City, as it is said by those who prescribe to the Maker in those teachings, this Golden City was turned black by corruption and quest for power. And now this herald of Andraste has now entered the Fade physically. Yet again, we know not the limitations, but if you do try to reach someone in the Fade, you can find them. If you know their signature, their essence, the core of themselves, their soul, you can affect their dreams. You could, if you know, if you know to rendezvous, you can potentially find them here. Going is tricky. You must always have your mindset. For if you walk off the path, who knows what horrors will seek to prey on you. There are many benevolent creatures here, most spirits. And as she points to a flower that she gently pets, and you see it kind of like nuzzles her hand back. Everything is alive here, and everything will do as you do to it. Demons are just spirits who have been corrupted and twisted from their purpose.
Have you met nice spirits, decent spirits, like wholesome spirits?
Oh yes, there are many. There are spirits for every ideal, for honor, for compassion, for for love. You can you can find them.
Hmm. May you show me one? I mean, this is if there's one last thing I would like to learn, it would be to interact with them. I mean, I also would love to learn how to exit. That seems like a useful talent. Please, Flemeth, don't leave without teaching me that. But also, I think that there's something. I guess I don't want to use the word powerful, but I almost like I feel like a need to want to interact with some of the spirits.
And she looks kind of thoughtfully and tell me, what what is it that you feel that you are most lacking right now? What is it that you feel you would gain the most help from?
In what sense? Because I believe I could answer that 2 ways. I feel like I lack confidence. I want to be I don't wanna be a medic. I wanna be somebody who can heal anyone of anything, and I still spend the majority of my time destroying things. I guess I lack the education, the teaching, the confidence. You've taught me so many things. You've taught me how to be powerful, how to use my power, what the morals of that power, what the consequences of them can be. But I am still struggling with the application. And I really feel if I'm able to meet a spirit, if I can meet something outside of my realm of understanding, it can help me.
And you see on one of the trees, on this great big ancient oak tree nearby, you see very delicately land on the branch the snowy white owl, and it looks at you with intent.
I'm gonna stare back, but less with intent, more with why is the owl looking at me?
And you see it hops over onto a branch closer to you, and you can see it has this very human sentience about it. And it goes, "Whoa."
I think I'll be able to remember at that moment, um, basically what Flemeth had just said 20 seconds ago, that if you treat, you know, the creatures and things here with kind of the same respect that you want to receive, then things will go nicely. So I would like to gently reach my hand out to the owl.
Mhm.
The action's more what you would do with a dog or something, like let them sniff your hand. But
Oh, yeah,
that's the only way Sahar knows how to interact with animals.
definitely, and, like, as you reach out your finger, and it goes and it hops over, and it does a, like, little bird thing where it just, like, very gently nips on your finger, like, out of affection, and it makes these, like, little cooing noises, and
Oh,
it kinda it hops onto your wrist if you let it.
yes.
It turns its head very quickly towards you, goes, "Hello,
uh, hello.
tell me, why is it that you have summoned me here?"
I summoned you. I summoned you. Me, the Kunar holding you right now.
"Yes, I heard a request for you see, I am a spirit of valor."
Wow. I okay. No, this is good. I'm gonna use this. This is information. This is this is experience. I got this. Yes, I summoned you because I. How do I say that I want to be stronger, but I want to be stronger in a way to help others?
Ah, yes, this is this is the question of balance. Power gone unchecked leads only to danger.
Exactly. You understand.
Yes, come come with me, and it you see it extends its huge wings, probably a 10-foot wingspan, and as it extends its wings you see that they are these beautifully gold tipped feathers, and it begins to soar off, going from one tree to the next, waiting for you to follow behind.
If I look behind me, is Flemeth still there?
She's seemingly gone.
Of course.
And the way that she does, where it just poof,
Mm-hmm.
knowing that full well she'll reappear at some point again.
Okay. I give the air a really good eye roll. And then follow this snowy owl.
And so it leads you to this beautiful coastline with these huge rocky cliffs. And you see, probably a mile off of the shore, this small rocky island with a lighthouse with the light spinning very slowly around it. Says, "You see, in order to have true power, the kind that uplifts, you need only to be as light as a feather, to exert your will with the utmost quiet. Only then will you understand on how you can bring yourself, not only yourself, but all those around you, up, to ascend, to transcend. You must get to the lighthouse, and there you will see the truth." And it immediately just flies off, disappearing into a cloud.
Oh, okay. Well, you sounded like Flemeth anyways. Bye.
Thanks for nothing.
Exactly. I'm gonna glance kind of I don't even know what a good adjective is. What is that feeling where it's like, God fucking damn it, this is what I have to do? That feeling
Yeah.
at the lighthouse. What's between me and the lighthouse?
It is. It is an ocean, but it's not an ocean of water. It is instead, as you can step towards the edge of this cliff and sort of peer into the water, and you see this sunlight bounce and refract. And you see, as you look in, it is dreams, it's hopes, it's thoughts of every creature in all of Thetis.
There is no way I can go in there. Wow,
Ooh.
that is more terrifying than water. Heck.
And looking behind you, yeah, you just see these rolling green hillsides, and it's that kind of, you know, partly cloudy where the sun is shining through, but it's still raining.
Nice. Oh, goodness. I have to be as light as a feather, but have really good something. Maybe they just describe themselves. I wonder if I can turn myself into an owl to cross that sea because I have no right involving myself in other people's hopes and dreams. That's a complicated mess and I can't fix everyone. Am I have the power within me to reshape myself?
Do you?
Barely. Barely. I think Sahar's iteration, they think they have, I mean, if it wasn't clear, they have a very poor self image of themselves.
Mhm.
They recognize that they want to be strong and they have all these aspirations, but they also don't feel like they're worth it. And that probably comes from a good chunk of their life being second class to a lot of uh, other citizens and other folks.
Mhm.
It does a lot to your mental health. So what I'm able to transform myself into, I focus really hard and think about that vaguely unpleasant owl but I don't have the grace. I don't have almost like that natural beauty of the owl, like the wingspan, the gold-tipped wings. Instead, I almost create like a screech owl.
Mm-hmm.
The little brown ones with like the weird little different colored tufts.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but like a small one, like a hoot hoot size if you were into second gen Pokemon. Third, second
Yeah.
gen, I think.
Oh
A
man, I
little
definitely
baby
remember
one.
those.
Yes.
Yeah, if you're like a little scrawny, definitely on the
Mhm.
thin side. It's just, I mean, owls weigh nothing anyways, but you're just like
Hollow boned.
extra.
A little scraggly. But like they can fly.
But yes, you definitely do. You transform yourself and you have wings. It is definitely a feeling unlike anything else you have experienced of this different way of having to hold yourself of the way that your weight is distributed. And so begins the task of flying. What is it that Sahar focuses on to inspire flight?
A drum beat in my own head, and it in reality, or this version of reality, is just the beat of my wings, the very very weak and slightly off kilter beat, but it's still that cadence, that flap, flap, soar, flap, flap, soar, and it's almost mind numbing. It's, like the beat of my heart is what really kept me focused and centered when I was encased in ice. Just that slow thump, that reassuring beat that something was still there, and that beating sound that almost takes me back to when I was younger with my parents, and something that it keeps me going for sure.
Hmm. And as you summon all this imagery and feel your natural beat carry you, you begin to feel this lightness and this sort of ease as you fall into this pattern, into that mindset that you get into when you no longer have to think about something consciously, but when it starts to become second nature and you feel all of your fears and your worries kind of just drip off of you as you and you feel the power underneath your wings as you feel the drafts lift you up and you're soaring. And as you reach this lighthouse and you see the light come around and flash in front of you, you're there. You're inside and you're with your owl friend. And it says, "See? It's not so hard."
Well, it's a good thing. The only thing I remembered from what you told me was be as light as a feather. You should really shorten your advice that you offer. It would make this trip a little bit simpler. But thank you. It's good to see you again.
Well, if you ever need me, feel free to call upon me again. And it searches its beak underneath its wings and kind of that like searching fashion, and it pulls out from its feathers in its beak. You see this beautiful long feather that gleams with this pearlescent glow. Should you ever come again, this will help inspire you. Should you need should you need a ride to get somewhere fast.
But wait, what did you do? How did I am I helped? Do I feel better? Nothing has changed.
You are changed. You are always changed. You are as changed as you feel.
Capable? I feel more capable.
See, that's the spirit, and it flaps its wings. and disappears again in a puff of feathers, and these like little white down feathers gently drift onto the ground. And now you find yourself uh in a very familiar field where you recognize immediately this is the particular place where Flemeth always trains and teaches you. And you see just off at the edge of this grove is a small cabin, a small wooden cabin with a billowing chimney, and all the lights are on inside, and you see her in her kitchen fixing a plate of tea.
I would like to go inside and help her with the tea. I just kind of fall into her, like fall next to her, quietly, and we finish making tea until she's ready to talk. I've definitely learned the hard way that bombarding her with questions this early doesn't yield results.
And so she, you put together a tray of tea and biscuits and cookies. What is Sahar's favorite hot beverage that they find soothing and relaxing?
I want to pick uh like a rooibos tea,
Mm,
a little bit more spicy and earthy.
and so of course she has just the perfect blend.
Can only get it in certain places. I'm incredibly grateful for this. I got hooked on it because of her.
And she offers a pot of honey, and although from the outside this cabin looks like one room, on the inside it is impossibly large. It is this rustic chateau
Ooh.
almost. And she leads you into a very cozy parlor and sits you down and on these low couches, and there's a nice little round coffee table where she places and fixes everything, and she says, "The point is, what I've always sought to teach you is that it's all there inside you, but you only need to realize it. And as simple as that sounds, I know better than most that that is really, well, that's the point of life, is the realization. And so many people never get there, but I know you can."
You tell me this over and over, but how can I realize something that I already know but nothing is changing? What am I doing wrong?
I think the thing is to focus on not what you're doing wrong, because that leads you off into an inviting path for sure. An inviting path of wanting to change, of wanting to fix. But you, my dear, you must focus on what you are doing right, and that will be your best guide.
I guess I've never really thought of it that way. I've always had to focus on what's been wrong. Huh. I'm gonna munch on a biscuit.
Just-
Thoughtfully. Definitely thoughtfully. Like, wow.
Yeah, and so you enjoy, the kind of the quiet and comfort of being in each other's company. We're not, that kind of feeling where you don't have to say anything, but you can tell what's on each other's minds. Well, with her more or less. Um, she says, "There are many things I want to tell you, and some will have to wait. But I will tell you now is that I only choose to come to people to take on as students, or to help, or to aid when they've been in a situation where they're facing some grave injustice. I mean, Surely you remember the moment that I came to you.
It's Can you tell me again?
What do you think it was? What is the moment in Sahar's life that was where they felt the most absolutely vulnerable, where they're against all odds,
Gosh, I feel like there'd be so many, but, like, what was the first one that made them snap?
or just yeah, that defining moment?
I honestly think it would probably be the senseless, inconsequential death of my parents that only accomplished self-serving satisfaction of some lord who meant nothing and knew nothing about them. And it was just that incredible apathy, incredible just garbage
Just
person.
the carelessness and the absolute disregard for life, as they were merely looking to collect a bounty on your parents' heads, and you, now orphaned, alone in the world. R
Wasn't easy. And if this is what I knew net like I knew life to be like, that is an injustice in and itself. And the idea of having to continue to exist, how? How can you do so when this is the world that you know?
and yeah, and so is this in this moment of utter helplessness, like a baby bird kicked brutally from a nest, this woman had come to you almost out of nowhere. It just you looked up and she was there with these kind yet strange and mysterious eyes that looked onto you with the kind of love that you had known only from your parents, as she sheltered you and brought you in and gave you a meal and helped to ignite that spark in you, that spark of magic. And
Quite literally what kept me alive.
you see as you're, kind of thinking this memory over in your head, and you feel that emotion that wells up, and you see reflecting in the silver serving tray, these moments that you can just catch a glimpse of when you're just out of your peripheral. And he says, something something happened to me when I was human. Her eyes kind of like kind of go wide for a second. I was greatly wronged by someone. I had been promised off to a lord who I did not love, and then I found true love. I We ran off together. We fled for the chastened wilds. But I received a message when my still husband is was on his deathbed, and I received a letter from him that he wished to make amends. And so Austin and I went to him. Of course, it was a trap.
Hmm.
They killed my love in cold blood, and I was so devastated by this betrayal that I was desperate and cried out to any power greater than my own to aid me, to help me to right this injustice. And but one voice answered, the Lady Mythal, the elven deity herself, who was betrayed, who was in a time far before the arrival of humans on Thetis, when gods walked this wild place where there is no distinction between the mortal plane and the fade, where it was all one and unified. But she was a voice of justice and right, and she was betrayed. And she was murdered. And so she came to me with what last vestige of power. And now I carry a piece of her. I am, in essence, Mythal.
Oh. That's a lot more intimidating than I mean, I'm already intimidated by you.
Don't worry. I she just kind of shrugs. Like just absolutely not knowing what to say that's going to make you feel better, and she just
Nothing.
there's nothing. There's nothing. Nothing to make you feel better in the presence of a god.
Offer me more biscuits.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know?
She just offers, she refills the water in your cup.
Perfect. Just staring wide-eyed like, "Oh, okay. Cool. Cool, 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 cool."
Tight, 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 tight. And she says, I am telling you this now because you are a shepherd, Sahar, and I need you to bring the herald home. You will know when the time is right to call upon me again. Uh, you must come to my place of worship, to the Temple of Mathal, and drink deeply from the wealth of knowledge available there. When you have done that, you will fully come into yourself.
I'm a shepherd? You want me to be I bring the herald to you. Is that But by doing this, I can help stop a wrongdoing. I can help right the wrong. I can help that crack in the sky. I can help make things better.
Yes, it is, from what I have been able to glean from the many different strings woven together to create time. There are so many different confounding factors, but I believe you and your companions play an important one. You all must be a voice of right and balance to an organization that can otherwise be dark and insidious.
I know that you know me, but I don't know if you've used any of your magic to look at the rest of my party members. Uh, Calling them right and righteous, it's a bit of a stretch.
And she definitely laughs very heartily, like more than you have ever seen her. She just this old lady like cackle. And she says, oh, oh yes, I know they are I mean, you all, quite frankly, are a rough bunch, but with some sanding down and some experience, I know that you all have the capability to do the right thing. And I know that is what lies within all of your hearts. Even the one who looks to steal at every possible opportunity.
Every opportunity. You've no idea how many times I either try to replace the item or just It's not easy. I can't afford to maintain that friendship.
the
But I
two
think
of
you're right.
the two of you are like opposite sides of a coin. You complement each other well.
I think so. Things have been better since I've been with this group a little bit. At least I feel better. I feel like I can do more for others. I can help more. That I'm involved in with this meeting. It's helping me realize that I have a chance to do so much. I have a chance to be so much. I mean, I don't know if you really understand what an opportunity this is. This is I don't think can I hyperventilate here? I'll be okay. I'm just
That's
gonna eat some
she
biscuits.
she hands you off a paper bag. It is quite fine, my child.
Oh, it's a lot of responsibility you just threw here. A lot of pressure.
Uh, and she nods very solemnly at that. And she says, I know it will not always be easy. I know great difficulty is ahead with the warring of countries, of plots of assassination, of chaos and demon armies. I have seen dark timelines where the very world crumbles to nothing. And
I
so, oh, go ahead.
oh, I can't we can't let that happen. You have to tell me what to do to help that to prevent that. What can we do to stop it?
Well, you will see as the clues come in, and you will understand how to give the pushes, the nudges, the pulls to cause the chips to land in just the right way. My telling you what to look for is far too much of a shove.
I disagree. Any more hints that you can give me would be excellent. I have been your faithful student. I I'm quiet when I should be. I try not to ask more than 15 questions within a minute. I think that is there anything that you can tell me to help?
And she leans back and she crosses her arms, and you can see she's visibly mulling over a great many things. And she kind of sits back up again and says, if these human empires are to see peace, if this war between mages and templars is to subside, if people are to find comfort in their religions again, then it will not be at the hands of men. Now is the time for the subtle, for the caring, and for the compassionate. And you must seek out and aid the rulers who promote this.
Okay. That's that's a direction. That is information that I can use. That's wonderful, Flemeth. Thank you. I'm gonna stand up and I want to like take her hand affectionately.
And she gladly offers it up to you. And she smiles at you, and she has this beaming smile with with these eyes that go on forever. And she just looks up just with the kind of adoration of a grandmother to you.
It's pretty much my feelings with her. Thank you. I have so much of my strength, so much of what has been given to me I owe to you. I If there's anything else that I can ever do, uh, if there's any, like, new tea that you want me to discover, and then we can maybe make it in the Fade together, I'm always happy to help. It's kinda hard for me to offer something to a goddess, but I just wanna let you know that I'm really grateful, and this I don't even know how to put it into real words. I'm a little flustered.
And she takes one of the kind of the silver beads of ornaments in her hair and she unwinds it from one of her locks, and you see she kind of twists her hands and you see it glow suddenly with this warm kind of golden light, and she gives it to you and she says, take this as something to help inspire you when you feel unsure, when you feel you need just that little bit of extra hope or courage. And take that owl feather and fasten it to it, and you've got a mighty duo behind you.
Yes, I this is wonderful. What does it look like? Sorry, what do I have?
So it's like this silver bead that
A
you could like wind
bead.
on to like a piece of fabric or leather strapper, fasten it in some way, and it has this very intricate design of you see of a woman who is outreaching her arms, and you see these millions of people, it looks like, who are just in awe of this woman. As and then like kind of on the flip side of it you see the outstretched wings of an owl, hovering with the sun behind it. So this is an essence of courage, and it gives you a +1 on all your willpower courage checks.
Ooh.
And once
Plus
per day, you can re-roll one of your dice to for that check.
heck yes. +1 reroll. I think if I can attach the bead to the feather,
Oh yeah, definitely.
and then do kunari have hair?
Yes.
They do? Okay.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm
They can have
torn.
hair, or they can be
S
bald.
A lot of the pictures I seem to see, or, like, a lot of the places, they don't have a lot of hair.
Yeah,
And
it's normally, I
that's
mean, yeah, living in a very kind of militaristic lifestyle, it's generally kept very short and cropped to be very practical, but they
mhm.
can grow it out very long if they would like to.
Because if my kunari has, like, my texture of hair where I can
Mm.
essentially put a pen in it and then it'll stay in place for a week, um,
Yeah.
I think it would be nice just for them to put it, like, in their hair right between, like, their ear and their first like, the twisty horn that they have.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely,
It's
for
just
sure.
it's a nice little adornment. The
Yeah, she'll
kunari
sh
with the feather.
she'll definitely, like, help fasten it in there.
Yes. I feel pretty.
I'm a pretty person. And after doing so, she's like, "All right, well, finish up your tea. I'll teach you on how to get the hell out of here."
Yes, thank you. I slurp my tea.
And so she leads you out back behind the house where there is this booming vegetable garden and fruit trees and everything with these fruits and vegetables that are gigantic. Um, and she instructs you to sit down on whatever position that's most comfortable. And she says, all right, now close your eyes and focus on your breathing. Focus on your heartbeat and feel it resonate deep in your chest. And count back from 10 to 1 and focus on your body, on your
8,
corporeal form.
7, 6,
And when you get to 1,
5,
your eyes will open
4,
and you will be back in your
3,
body.
2,
And then you only need to
1.
wake up.
Am I under snow?
No. Your eyes flutter open and you are in a large cavern with your friends all sitting around you looking very kind of anxious. You see Emmylou with her big eyes like and nestled up next to you is a bouquet of dried flowers, a jar of glowing crystals and rocks, as they're all just like beaming over you in anticipation, waiting for you to say or do anything. And you see that Sister Dorcas is holding this magnificent staff with this great crystal head that's shaped almost like an axe blade. And you can feel this kind of spiritual power emanate off of it. And you are back with your friends, having gained a little bit of extra something. And I think that's where we're going to call it this evening.
Oh, I love this. Oh, heck.
So a little bit of a short game, but whoo, is an info dump.
Oh my word, that was really good though. That was an emotional info dump. You led me through the cycles. It was like, child Sahar, so sweet, about to be murdered. What do you do? Well, what the fuck? I feel so many things. Oh my word. That was excellent. Thank you.
I'm glad you had a good time. It's a wonderful opportunity to be able to have these little like character deep dives.
I
And
like
so
these.
yes, oh, this is gonna be some juicy of what you end up choosing to share with your companions.
Right. Let's see what I can properly re-articulate back to them.
All right. But yes, you will catch us in 2 weeks. On March 6th will be the next time that we'll be playing back here at 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're going to have 2 special guest starring next time. So it's going to be
Ooh.
a hot game where a whole bunch of stuff is going to happen.
It's gonna be wild.
Oh man, the wilds, baby. And so yes,
Wow.
for this evening, I have been Sage, your storyteller.
And I am Bianca Zelda, who is playing Sahar, the Kunari mage. You can find me on Twitter as at Bianca Zelda.
Woo! We have to come up with a thing where we're like, and until next time, like we do on the Venture Maidens, we'll have to think about this. We'll have to come
It's
together as
gotta
a
have
group.
like some good, Dragon Age pun in there.
Mm-hmm. We'll come up with it. Chat, let us know. Let us know if you think of anything.
Oh,
But all
heck.
right, good evening, my friends. Have an excellent weekend, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Bye.